Hello and welcome once again to Untold History. I'm Zachary Little. Today we discuss Andrew Jackson, the populist man of the people who prided himself on his Midwestern values and xenophobia. His presidency is considered a rousing success despite its nearly constant failure and bloodshed. Jackson's many bizarre, punk-style escapades are well documented, such as his placing in the White House lobby of an enormous block of cheese. Events like these have led historians to remark that he was, and I quote from Thomas Friedman, probably a retard. He was not, of course, but he did lack the ability to read or write, and often spoke in an incomprehensible growl which left him unable to explain his actions most of the time. The result being that the full story of Jackson's battle with the Second Bank of the United States, a scandal referred to at the time as Watergate, a handle which was ultimately dropped 150 years later when a more appropriate scandal occurred, has never been fully documented until now. Thanks to newly discovered forensic evidence and some psychological analysis of the blood spatter paintings Jackson made in his spare time, we finally have all of the facts. Angry at the banker Nicholas Biddle for telling various members of the DC upper crust that he had started a moonshine lab in the White House basement, Jackson decided to deprive Biddle of his financial security. Now Jackson, as a rule, made all of his judgments based on his prejudices, since polls had shown that Midwestern voters appreciated this, and since he assumed that Biddle was Jewish, he decided the wallet would be the best place to strike. Biddle wasn't Jewish, in fact, he came from Welsh stock, and though it may seem garish as suggested, we should be thankful that Jackson did not mistake Biddle's dark complexion for a Native American heritage, because in that event, he probably would have murdered him. This much is well known, but here's where the history books veer off course. Jackson was not attempting to simply demolish the Second Bank of the United States, he was in fact attempting to do away with money altogether. Jackson was known for this. When politicians attempted to bribe him, he usually ate the money to send the message that he was no corrupt politician. Of course, most of us know that as the founder of the spoils system for civil servants, Jackson was probably our nation's fourth most corrupt president, behind Warren G. Harding, Richard M. Nixon, and George Show Me the Briefcase of Money Washington. Jackson had hated money ever since he was a 10-year-old boy, when the local shopkeep had refused to give him a red wagon in exchange for the vials of Native American tears he'd been collecting since the age of 7. The shopkeeper's greed and insistence on receiving actual money cost him his life, and instilled in Jackson a dream that someday a barter system could replace the monetary exchanges he thought so nonsensical. Jackson did indeed shut down the Second Bank of the United States, in a bloody coup that Biddle barely survived. In the brief 2 weeks that followed, in which money no longer existed, Jackson seized the opportunity, trading the desk and chair in the White House for a bale of hay and a horse. This is where the mentally retarded rumors really picked up steam, as Jackson's critics would lament, "I can't believe we elected another one," alluding to a popular sentiment at the time that James Monroe had Down syndrome, a joke that has mostly been lost to the sands of time. Meanwhile, money proved to be too resilient a foe, and the battle would rage on for the rest of Jackson's term. Nicholas Biddle got his revenge by ringing a bell every time a bathtub in the White House basement exploded, and Jackson was twice hospitalized as he began consuming money in record quantities. Unfortunately, we're out of time, so please join us again for more Untold History. I'm Zachary Little, leaving you with this question. If history is written by the winners, who do you think won the Bible? Good night.